So I made a desk. All right. Sometimes when you're working out a brand new idea in your head, you don't want to be working with some of the nicest wood that you can get your hands on. First order of business whenever you're working with figuring out what sections of a board you actually want to be working on is sighting down the board. What I'm looking for is the sections that are the straightest. Especially if you're working with something like pine, where you have all the knots that are present throughout. Usually you're going to end up with a few curves and a few twists in your board, usually right around where the knots are positioned. now the main structure of my desk is complete. I'm going to be working on all the moving parts today. Going to be putting in the runners underneath the drawers. I'm going to be making an actuated tabletop so this can actually lift up. So yeah. So I'm going to be using my runners, some actual metal runners, giving myself a nice smooth. And this is going to be bottom mounted on the drawer. So the drawer will fit right on here and slide into place. This will allow it to run out. One thing I did not take in consideration when I was making my drawers is I need to actually remove this amount of material so this has room to slide in as well. So this is going to have to go. So I'm about to actually paint this desk, and the paint that I'm going to be using is a milk paint, but the trick is it's not actually milk paint. I use milk paint all the time for my actual sculptures, but for just a practical project like this, my wife picked out a paint that she liked, and this is basically more of a chalk paint, and it's just marketed under milk paint, sold at Home Depot. Yeah, it is what it is. As a final critique of my own desk here, there's several things that I wish I had changed about it from the very get-go. I wish I had thought a little bit more about the actual raise and lowering mechanism. I thought I understood that really well, and the way I went about it originally completely didn't work. And then when I tried to change that, I probably ended up spending more money in changing out hardware and reassessing the situation. Definitely spent more time than if I just spent a little bit more money and bought a more complete hardware set from the get-go. But you know, if I ever made this desk again, I know exactly what I would do differently. I would put an actuator on either side, probably move in the drawers a little bit, and so I have a little bit more of a stable mechanism. And I'm pretty happy with the hardware that I ended up using. Instead of just making a wooden scissoring feature, I ended up doing hardware that actually moves up. Super cheap hardware. It only cost me about $20 for the entire set of what I used on here. And I possibly would have doubled that up though and did 2 sets of that hardware so I can have a lot of a really stable surface on it, and as well as a double actuator. But other than that, I think for what it is, a project that I put together pretty quickly to meet a need that my wife had of teaching from home this school year, and was tired of sitting at the kitchen table and wanted her own work surface. I think it's going to work great.